Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas. The big sporting story breaking over the last 24 hours in England. The fact that Timo Werner looks like he's on his way to Chelsea. Of course, for much of this summer, we thought that, in fact, Liverpool would be his destination. But it looks like he will be heading to Stamford Bridge. It's a story that dominates all the back pages in the UK as we welcome in Frank Lampard, Julien Laurens and Craig Burley. Craig, proper signing for Chelsea.
Yeah, magnificent signing if it happens. You know, ticks all the boxes. You know, he's got some over 30 goals this season. It was over 20 last season and the season before. So the consistency's there, the flexibility's there, the work rate's there, the pace is there. He can play off the left where he has quite a lot. He can play through the middle. And, of course, he's a goal scorer. On top of that, he's 24, Dan. And I think that was the big thing. We talked about Chelsea's potential interest a few days ago, and Aubameyang from Arsenal, who's an excellent player, but he's 31. And I think Lampard and Chelsea have been trying to go down the route of younger players and quality players who may have a sell-on at some point. So this ticks all the boxes for Chelsea if they can get it done. A magnificent signing. Do
you agree, Frank?
I do agree. He's a fantastic player. We've seen it. We've seen him for the past 2 years, and it's a very good catch for Chelsea because he almost signed for Bayern Munich last year. We talked about Liverpool a couple of months ago, and now he's finally, fortunately, he's going to go to Chelsea, and I'm very happy about that. And he's going to give versatility in the attack, in the front line as a striker with Tammy Abraham, because Tammy Abraham is more somebody who's going to hold the ball. But when Werner's going to play, he's going to give something else to the midfielders and to the defense as well. So it's very good catch. I'm very happy. I want to see that with Ziyech on the right side, maybe Pulisic on the left side. I mean, that's going to be very, very interesting. I think it's a very, very good signing, yeah.
And quite the coup for Chelsea, as I mentioned, Jules. We just assumed that Liverpool would be where he would be heading. However, they came in, they activated this release clause, and they just seemed to get it done quick.
Yes, quick. That's the whole benefit of having release clause in a contract, is that if you show the money, then the player is yours if he accepts to join your club. I mean, I think Timo Werner is 100 million euro players, and Chelsea got him for 60 million, which I think is an absolute bargain for, like the boys have said, his age, his talent, his versatility, his work rate, everything. 60 million euros is fantastic. And let's be clear here, he had decided to go to Liverpool. He has spoken to club a few times. The problem is that Liverpool didn't have the money. They could not spend the 60 million euros on him. RB Leipzig wanted to sell. Werner was getting a bit touchy as well about what are Liverpool doing, why have they not made a bid yet. And then when Chelsea came, he said yes, he had already met Peter Cech, who did a wonderful job in this whole story, and Frank Lampard a bit earlier in the season. And I think that when he last spoke to Lampard convinced him that that was a good project for him as well. And I really think it is. If you look at the youth in that squad, the talent in that squad, I think it makes a lot of sense for him as well.
Why didn't Liverpool have the money, Jules?
It's interesting. I think that the pandemic has hit them hard, and let's not forget that that was a club who followed their staff. They did a U-turn and they changed their mind, but initially they were ready to furlough the whole not playing staff, which shows you that the money was clearly an issue at that time. It's a club that spent a lot of money in recent years to get the squad that they have now and to dominate English football. Yes, there were the sales of Coutinho and Luis Suarez, but they still spend a lot of money on Alisson, on Van Dijk, and many others to make the squad like it is now. And I think maybe they didn't think with the front line that they currently have that it was worth the money, if you want, to go for a fourth choice in a way, because that's what Werner, at least at the beginning, would have been. It would have been a replacement for one of the top three, and maybe for that amount of money they just didn't think that it was worth it, and that they maybe are going to target someone a bit cheaper.
Jules, I think that's sorry, Dan. Well, I think that's the point here Jules makes, and I think Liverpool clearly have the money, but it was as good as Timo Werner is, and I think he's a brilliant player. He was a non-essential player for Liverpool for the reasons Jules just touched on. So therefore, with the financial the restrictions and financial hit that clubs have taken, they're only going to spend big money if they absolutely need to. Now, Chelsea's need was more, because Tammy Abraham has done a fantastic job, but he's not a German international. He hasn't got the quality and flexibility that Timo Werner brings. And so he was an essential signing for Chelsea, and I think that's why they've pushed the boat out. Abramovich has said, OK, we'll pay the release clause because we need this player. We want to get back to the top, and he's essential for us. He wasn't essential for Liverpool, and I think that is a smart business move from them. Maybe not a smart football move, but a smart business move.
Jules, the rhetoric we've been...
And if I can say something, Dan, I'm very sorry, Dan, but if I can say something about that, I think it's very ashamed. It's very shameful what we see, because Timo Werner almost signed for Bayern Munich, then there was a ton of events and he didn't. And Klopp went to discuss twice to Timo Werner to say, we want you, we really want you. So Timo Werner talked and said, okay, I want to come to Liverpool. Now he's going to sign for Chelsea. What the fans going to think about that move? That tons of events made him almost going compulsory to Chelsea, where he wanted to go to Liverpool. And that's shameful in a way that Liverpool, they didn't need him clearly. Why they started the discussion? Why they started to block him to finally say, oh, do you know what? No, we don't want you anymore. That's not very a gentleman gesture, I would say.
Isn't that just football though, Frank?
Yeah, it's business, but we talk about human being as well. And I never thought that Liverpool was that kind of club, that you want to block somebody before the others to get him and say that at the end, I don't want you. Is that fair? Is that normal? Especially
no,
you put
that's
somebody...
not true.
Well, see, according to what you said, guys...
But no, it's not.
According to what you said, sorry, Jules, I'm very sorry. According to what you said, that Liverpool wanted him, clearly, they discussed twice to say, oh, you know, in fact, financially, we can't do it. But as Craig just said after, well, they had the money, but they didn't want him because it was a first choice. And at the end of the day, they decided that it wasn't be too much money for a fourth choice. So that's just a turn of event, a turn of reflection, a turn of thought, and that's not fair for the players. That's just what I'm saying. Even if I love Liverpool.
I don't think it was too much money post-pandemic, but I think, sorry, pre-pandemic, but post-pandemic, I think they've decided it's not a smart business move. This global pandemic has shifted the focus slightly, well, a lot for a lot of clubs, Frank. And whilst in good faith, before all this kicked off, the financial hit that people have taken now has changed their route slightly in terms of where they want to go.
Speaking of Chelsea overall, Jules, the rhetoric was Roman Abramovich is bored, he's a bit disenfranchised with our whole system, doesn't like the UK anymore. That's kind of taken a massive U-turn, hasn't it? Not just this summer, of course, spent the money on Kepa as well. That narrative's kind of dead now.
Yeah, it's a bit... I mean, it's just the way you run a football club is, you know, every season could be different. He invested a lot at the beginning. He kept investing. Maybe there was a dip at some point. And now maybe he's thinking, this is a good time for us. This is a good time because we've got a very talented and young squad with players with great future. If you look now with Werner at 24 and all the players below 24, it's outstanding, the talent that this Chelsea squad has. He thinks that maybe Lampard is there for a legacy. He can stay 15 years easily, 10, 15 years at this club. So maybe Abramovich is thinking, do you know what? This is the right time. Financial fair play will ease off, and we will know that very soon because of the pandemic. So if there's one summer where if you have the money when you can invest it, it's now. Clearly, also because there will be good deals to do with players maybe being sold under the value that they really have. And maybe he's thinking, do you know what? The others might not be able right now to find money to spend big. We can. So let's go and get a left back like Chilwell or like Tagliafico. Let's go and sign another forward like Werner. 60 million, as we said, it's a bargain for someone like Werner. Let's go and buy maybe a centre back. I don't know, because they will have the money to do that. A goalkeeper, similar thing. And maybe Abramovich and Marina Granovskaya as well. They're very intelligent people. They exactly know when to invest, when they can, and when maybe it's a bit more difficult. And clearly right now, they're thinking that it's a very good time for them to invest. And I think they're right.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.